Alcohol. How'd you quit drinking?
The demons don't have control over me. I have control over them.
I had tried taking my life 3 times.
You're worth what you work worth.
You talk negativity. You talk, I can't, I won't, I'll fail. That's what you're going to get.
The most important thing is what you feed your mind.
I came home, I had a gallon of whiskey.
Words is, are you okay?
Thank you.
And that
right.
is so powerful. I mean, it is.
My brother quit
Just quit cold turkey.
cold turkey.
Drugs and alcohol wasn't the problem. I was the problem.
Jimmy Mitchell's sitting here with us, and he is going to tell us his own story of how he has made it to sobriety.
Well, I'd like to thank y'all for having me. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but let me first off saying that I'm a born again believer of Jesus Christ, and but also my story has a lot of drugs, alcohol, and a lot of sin, but it's my story, so here we go. Um, I guess it started back when I was real young. I feel like I was being protected for a reason that I didn't before I even realized what was going on. I say this. My parents was and they passed away, but they was drug addicts and alcoholics, and God rest their soul. But and they loved me the best they could. But so back, I think I was like 2 years old. There was this drifter coming through. We lived on Mulberry Pike out there toward Eminence, and there was this drifter coming through, and he found me running down the road, just in a diaper, and I don't know. He just picked me up, and he found the closest trailer, what it was, and he brought me up there, hoping that that's where I lived, and thank goodness it was because
Right.
they was my parents was at that time they was drinking, snorting coke, or knows what else, but that drifter could have done anything. He could have took me, whatever. He could have hit me in the car. I mean, he could have just left me there, but he
Absolutely, yeah.
and I never get a chance to thank that guy because I don't even know who he was. But just know that there is still good people out there.
For sure, yeah.
And so a little further along, one of my first memories of any kind of addiction was mainly it started with cigarettes, tobacco, and I remember my dad he came home drunk like he usually did, but this time was different. He was more in a rage, and he started smacking on my mom, and the dog got routed up, tried to bite him. A door got kicked off the hinges during all that, and so I had an older friend with me at the time, come over and hanging out, and I went outside to get away from all the chaos, and he came out behind me, and he was like, "Here, take a cigarette. It'll probably help you." And I was like, "Okay." So I smoked a cigarette, and I felt all my anxiety just melt away, and it was nice. I didn't have to think about nothing, and it helped. And at that moment, I realized that I'm just depressed, angry, always running around breaking windows out with my hands, fighting, just destructive at a real young age. But so a little farther ahead, I tried to be in sports. I was in baseball for a while, softball. They put me in football. I was too aggressive toward the other team, and so my dad ended up finding this karate studio in Eminence, and he did a lot of work in electric for the studio, and got me, my brother, and himself a year of training in martial arts, taekwondo and jiu-jitsu.
Hmm.
So we got into that. Um, went to it for about a half a year, and then came the like ceremonial get your karate gi day, but they just don't give it to you or sell it to you. They make you earn it. So we had to come in and do 500 push-ups and sit-ups in one night. We didn't have to do them all at once. We could do the push-ups 10, 20, do the sit-ups 10, 20, and bounce back and forth. And so I did. And my dad tried, but he was too drunk when he came up, tried to do it. He went out in the back, started puking, and he said, "I'm not doing this." My brother, he left as soon as they told him that. He was 7 years older than me, so he was like, "I'm just gonna go do my thing, work on cars, drink, whatever." So I ended up getting 3 years put on me, and at this time, it got me out of the house, and back then, all I really did was play video games, Super Nintendo, uh, 64, all that. We lived in a little small country town, Pleasureville, and back then, kids could run around by themselves at 6 years old and wouldn't have any problems. I mean, my dad did hand me a pocket knife and said, "Here, if you're gonna be riding around town, take this pocket knife. If anybody tries to kidnap you, just stab them with a knife and get back home before the cops get to you." I was like, "Okay." So, I mean, it was normal, and I didn't see nothing wrong with it because of the chaos and everything was always around. I just thought everybody's life was like that. I didn't really realize until I got older. So, at 10 years old, uh, my older brother smoked a joint with me, and man, like it felt like I arrived, and it's like I never felt comfortable in my own skin until then, and I just felt all the anger just go away. I wasn't angry. Me and my brother got along. We never got along before, and I felt included, and just a great feeling, man. It's like I loved it, and I never thought I'd quit doing anything. I really didn't want to quit doing anything. I wanted to keep doing it but I wanted to be able to function and manage and do it. Uh, Me personally, I can't not do that. Tried, but so that's where it really all started for me.
Right. So at a very young age, you pretty much were into mischief and trouble, and then kind of immediately after some sort of uh, uh, coping mechanism
Yes,
that was smoking cigarettes and then smoking weed, and so that never is a good start to life, obviously. But so I would assume that just kind of led into
yes.
drug addictions and
Well, with that being said, my parents didn't know nothing about it at the time when I started smoking weed. My brother told me when he smoked it with me, he was like, "Listen, you can't tell nobody about this because they'll send me away." And yeah, and my big brother was like my everything at the time. And but with all that, so my parents ended up catching me eventually, and so my father's mother, which is my grandmother, they went to talk to her about it, and she pretty much told me, "You're gonna let that boy smoke cigarettes, smoke pot, and drink, and do whatever. If you're doing it, he can do it. I'll let you do it. So you gonna let him do it?" I mean, he did try to argue with her, but
right,
she
and that was your mom's dad,
that was my dad's.
your dad's, your dad's mom
Yes,
said that to your dad, huh?
and
Yes.
nobody went against her because she would shoot you with a shotgun.
Right.
And yeah, it was
Who was living at the house before you moved in? Was that them or
you talking about Cropper, the white one that burned
no, the
down?
one that next door to me?
I don't know who lived there before we
Yeah,
moved.
it was your grandfather that lived there
Oh, it
before.
was.
Yeah,
It was my grandmother and step grandfather.
right. So was that? Your dad's mom?
That was my mother's mom.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Uh,
the only ones I remember.
yeah. Yeah. She was my grandmother on my mom's side, her mom, she was a wonderful woman. She
Right.
didn't really and she's passed away too. She didn't really have a history with drugs, but she did have a history with mental illness and but she was a great woman. She really
Right,
was.
right. I didn't mean to get us off track there.
But so when my parents started letting me do whatever I want in the house at 11 and a half years old, they told me, they was like, you can drink, you can smoke, but you're gonna do it here. You're not gonna be out riding around. You're not gonna be out doing it in public, and don't tell nobody. Don't bring the cops here. You ever get in trouble, don't bring the cops here, because for any reason.
right,
And I'm like, okay. So then so I was like, at that time, I was still like kind of sneaking around a little bit because I had felt like, I missed the joyness of hiding and doing it.
right,
And eventually, I had my first real drink with my dad. That was Jim Beam, the white label, and whew, yeah, and it just took off from there. All the older kids of the town, much older, like 17, 18-year-olds, would come down my house. I'm 12 years old, and I'm running around to all these older kids and drinking with them like I'm out drinking some of them.
right,
They're out on my front porch puking. I'm sitting there like, what is wrong with you? And,
right,
and then we moved. I think it was the Cropper, and at that time it was the year 2000, and that's when the epidemic of opioids hit the streets. Oxy 80s, 40s, Xanax, Zomas, um, morphine patches was fentanyl gel patches back then. Um, and when you speak of fentanyl back then, that's the only thing it was. It wasn't like it is today. It's in almost everything now. And it's crazy because it was just a patch back then. It was a controlled substance, which is government controlled. It wasn't, I don't know, it's just crazy how you look back at year 2000, how the drug world has changed so much more. And if you notice the history, it goes back to that. It always loops back around. It goes with the hallucinogenics, the opioids, the amphetamines, and then it comes back. And
right,
but I think that's interesting. But with that being said, so I partied pretty hard. I got into the pills, the OC80s, real big, the Xanax. And I didn't just switch substances. I just added on. Went from smoking pot, drinking, eating pills. 14 years old. My older brother ended up getting a disability back pay, and at that time they gave it to you all at once. So they don't do that no more. So he ended up getting like 3 years worth, almost 18,000 something dollars. And they ended up going and getting a lot of cocaine. So this little house, and at the time we was, when I say we, I was, and we would grow pot plants in our backyard, and it was dad's, my brothers, and mine. But I had to take care of them. My brother showed me how to take care of them, and we couldn't really let dad know where they was because he'd get drunk and show everybody. Then they come up missing. And one thing they always told me is like when you grow pot, you got to grow enough for the thieves, the deer, and yourself. That's usually roughly around 35, 40 plants because you'll end up with about 12 after it's all done and said. One's turned to the male, all that.
right,
But I'm not here to glorify all that. I'm just trying to help the listener identify with the life that I've come from and experience strength and hope.
right, right,
Um, you know, it progresses. Like I had a lot of power at the time. My dad had built a secret room behind his in his bedroom in his closet, and there was a lot of pills in there. He had a connection with a doctor that, yeah, and he had to build a little room just for it. 'Cause my mother, she was a bigger woman, she couldn't fit back in there. She was still all of it. Set video cameras up in front of safes, what, and then hide the camera, all kinds of crazy stuff. So my dad trusted me with the key because he didn't realize I was eating pills at the time. My mom she know I had the key. She's like, "Come on down here and just get us one out. I know you ain't got no pot. I know you going through it." And I mean they love me the best they could. My mother, it wasn't the right thing to do, but she didn't know what else to do. I mean, I was sick.
The life they were living, it's like to bring children into it. I mean, you're going to bring them into it too. So
I was very suicidal, and they
you
was.
did have a roof over your head,
I
so
did.
that's
Yeah, I did.
more than some have.
I had food, a roof.
Both parents. That's a tough one, especially nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I was really so she kept me sedated because they didn't want me going to the doctor to get on any kind of depression meds or ADHD meds because I really probably needed it. But they was afraid that if I got around a counselor or a therapist that they might get in my head and I might be talking, I might express something I shouldn't have that would bring heat into the family. And they was doing so much of hustling and this and that. It was just they couldn't take the risk, and I understand. Um, so my mother helped. I mean, keep me, like I said, I was suicidal, and my family was scared of me, and it was because I was real quiet, and they thought I was either going to burn the house down or kill them or both. And anyways, with that being said, all I really wanted was peace. Um, I suffered with depression a lot, and just for the simple fact of all that. And I miss them. I miss my family dearly. And it wasn't until my dad passed. Well, it wasn't until like 4 or 5 years after my dad passed away, my depression went away. But I had anger and rage that came out. So I don't really know, but life got a little bit better once I met my ex-wife. She's my ex now, but yeah, I was like 15, I was 15, and that poor girl, she didn't know what she was walking into. My dad really loved her, and she really loved my dad. Cared a lot about him. My dad was nuts, and it was and I told him when I met Shannon, is her name. I was like, if y'all scare her away like y'all have the other ones, I will burn this house down, and it will be bad for everybody. I promise y'all. And I've never threatened them like that before because I didn't want to get beat, but I was as serious as I could possibly be and as calm. And I put that girl through a lot. And at that time she didn't really do much. She drank a little bit, maybe smoked a joint from time to time. But when I met her, I had a bag of coke in my pocket, a few OC80s in the other. Um, I had a bag of pot. I sent, you know, I was like, I had my own little crew there in Pleasureville. Then I had a little crew in Cheville. Um, and I mean, everybody would always come to my house, be like, hey, cigarettes? You got any pot? Like, well, yeah, come on in,
I remember, when you had moved over next door to us, it was the spot to hang out.
Yeah.
It was over in Jimmy's room.
Um,
Yeah. So yeah, your childhood was not a normal childhood in a
no,
sense.
the DJ kicked in my parents' door at 12 years old.
Right.
And luckily enough, they didn't find what they came for, which they was misled anyways with false information. There was a lot of activity going on there, but what they was told was completely false due to family friend stealing from my parents. But you'll have that in that kind of
Right.
environment,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Okay. And you said things started changing once you met your ex-wife.
yes.
And you said that was kind of 15ish. Um, when talk about that.
So when I met her, I don't know, she was this girl, like she wasn't like any other girl I've ever even been around. And like I guess in a category way of putting it, she was more emo. Back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You had good chemistry, I suppose.
yes.
Just
Well, yes, when I got to talk to her and get to know her, yes.
right. You just felt comfortable around her.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was shy. I was me. However, like I'm shy when I want to be, but I'm very sporadic at times,
Mhm.
over dramatic sometimes. Like with her, I don't know. Like I just knew. I knew that that was going to be the girl I wanted to be with for the rest of my life, and I probably would have been if. And I mean, I'm not ashamed to say it, but I was a crappy husband. Like, a person can only put up with so much before she's like, I can't do this anymore. And when she did leave, we had done had 2 boys. Um, they was 4 and 6 at the time when sh we started, like, back and forth in a relationship, but, it was difficult. Um, I like to say that I like to say it wasn't my fault at all, but that would be a bold-faced lie. Mm, so, me and her was together for about 5 or 6 years, then my dad died, and, he was the glue to our family. He kept everything going, and when he died, everything literally fell apart. He died November 28th of '06 in the house.
08,
'06.
06,
Yes,
November 28th.
yes.
Okay.
That same house he died in, a week later, it burnt down, and then a week after that was Christmas. So, yeah, it was a big ordeal, but, luckily enough, so I had ventured off into other things, and she just kept trying to pull me back, and, she said something that I'll never forget. She was like, "Before you die, before you kill yourself and from your lifestyle, I would like to have something left here to remind me of you." And what she meant by it was a kid. The doctor done told me I couldn't have any kids because I had overdosed off methadone at 16 years old after a baseball bat fight incident, and, truly so when my dad died, she ended up getting pregnant, and she was she was so I didn't I couldn't doubt I didn't have no doubt that that kid, that kid was definitely mine, and
Right.
she wouldn't.
Right.
There's no way I didn't even have that thought.
Sure.
So you know, it kind of scared me a little bit. Like I was like, my goodness, I'm bringing a child in this world, and I'm a hot mess, and phew, I was like, this is not gonna turn out good. And I mean, I tried to hold it together. We got us a place, ended up having another kid, about a year and a half after. And the environment they was in was better. It was way better than the one I was raised in, but it was still a toxic environment. And they might not have seen as much violence, guns blazing, and all that I grew up. But people don't realize what you put your kids through until they get older, and you know you see the pain in their eyes, and you know that you caused that, and and it's all good. We can't dwell on the past. The past is in the past for a reason. We can't worry about tomorrow. We can plan for tomorrow, sure, but we got to stay in the day because truly that's all we have is just today because we're not promised tomorrow, and can't dwell on the past because it'll just rob you of everything. I say don't live in the past doesn't mean we don't learn from the past.
Right.
Like
It's a big one. People get hung up on that one a lot.
sure I did.
Yeah, we all have. That's a tough one to really learn from your past, but not stay hung up on it.
Yeah,
It's every person on this planet. I feel deals with that, and yeah, it's a tough one to.
But with all that, like, so the years just, continued. So-called friends would come hang out because I was, dealing pills and doing the most and working. And, our kids didn't go without, but there
By
was,
this time, you had your own spot, and you guys were
yeah,
just living together, and
yes.
yeah,
But there was a lot of times where the water got cut off. Then I had to go out there and turn it on myself, park the car over the water meter, and then have them call me saying they're bringing the cops, tow the car, or shutting the electric off. Me going out there pulling the tag off and hooking it back up myself, or taking a set of jumper cables from the top of the meter to the bottom. Just bypass the meter. I mean, I was that disobedient, and I had to do what I had to do for my kids. But I say that if I really was doing what I had to do, I'd have straightened up and kept the job and kept the bills paid.
right, right,
I can't sit here and justify
right.
all
But
that.
at the time, you felt that was what you had to do.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but eventually you keep knocking on the devil's door, he's gonna open. And he did.
right,
Um, eventually, my kids was growing up. They was angry. Well, my oldest one was more angry than my youngest one. Um, and it's just like we know that we're in the wrong, but we don't know what to do about it. So it kind of just kept going the way it was. And if it wasn't for my ex-wife's mother, if it wasn't for her, it's hard telling where my kids would be at. Because me and my ex-wife couldn't hold it together. She ended up getting addicted too, and got just as bad. I mean, we was like Bonnie and Clyde. But eventually we split. And at the time, if you would ask me then, because she left me, but you know, it was tough. It was really tough. Um, if you ask me now, I think it was the best thing because she ended up getting clean. I ended up getting clean. We was bad for each other. Sometimes it's hard to even be around her now. We're friends now. You know, she's more like it's a weird way to say this, but she's more like family, like in a sister way.
right, right,
I couldn't look at her in a sexual way anymore because, well, for one, she's got an old man and a kid, but they live a great life, and I'm so happy for her. I'm happy that she's happy,
right, right,
and like, I think that's what real true, like, deep seated love is. Like, if y'all can't be happy together, just be happy that she's happy.
right,
And that
right.
right there is the acceptance and the peace that comes with that. It's amazing. Did it affect the kids? I'm sure it did. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. It would have probably been best for my parents didn't stay together. I might have had a better life. Then again, I might not have. I don't know. But they was horrible for each other. My goodness, it was bad. It was way worse than me and my ex. Way worse. But you know, if all that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
True,
Um,
true.
we're not promised an easy life, but
Yeah. So you guys end up splitting up, and so does this get close to the time where you start getting sober,
no,
or okay? All
no.
right. So let's go into that.
So I was 28 years old, and I just left a buddy of mine's house, and he was at this time. So during my years of drug abuse, I had went from one drug, I stayed on it for a while, then switched, and the longest time I was on opiates, pills. Then they dried up. And then the heroin came around in our town. So I started doing that. It's like, man, it's cheaper, better, lasts longer. This is before the fentanyl. It became fentanyl.
Right.
But then it became fentanyl, then I switched to methamphetamine. And that's the one I stayed on until I got sober. I ended up running into this preacher guy and didn't realize it was a church. He was out there scraping ice off the ground. It was a church, he was out there scraping ice off the ground. And I didn't realize, I was walking by, been up for 3 days or something. And I seen him out there. I was like, man, do you need some help? I was walking in the snow, about a 25-mile hike from Newcastle to Shelbyville. And he was like, yeah, yeah. I started helping him. So he's like, man, come on in and get warm. It's a church. Boy, if I knew it was a church, I wouldn't have went in there. Because I was in bad shape, and I know I was. It's like, I'm surprised that church didn't burn down when I walked in there. But walked in, you know, he was like, and I'm pretty sure he knew, I was pretty out there. But that man, he went to the lengths of trying to help me, try to help me save my marriage, all kinds of stuff. And when a preacher man tells you that your marriage is unsavable, after he spends a while trying to help you, it's pretty evident that you probably need
Yeah.
to, yeah. So I say that because, that's where my walk with God, started. And I would love to tell you that I got sober after that. No. I was very hard headed. And drugs and alcohol was my life. Like, all the years of depression, that's what I leaned on. That's what I used to escape, you know. And I'm telling you, I mean, I was really suicidal growing up. I tried to shoot myself once. The gun jammed, and I cleaned it before I tried. I tried to hang myself with my karate belt when I was younger than that incident. The karate belt breaks somehow. I don't know how. There wasn't even nobody in the house because they got the food stamps and they went out to get food. And I made sure that nobody was in the house when I did it. That's 2 times. The third time, when my divorce was going on, I tried to eat a bunch of sleeping pills, Seroquel, 200 milligrams, ate 14 of them. Woke up the next day. And I even looked it up. The lethal dose was like 8 or 9. Um, I was, my dad always used to tell me that's the chicken shit way out of life. And, I didn't care. I just wanted the pain to end. And I didn't know how to do it. So he told me that, but he tried to shoot himself before, and he's left-handed. He tried to shoot himself in his heart.
Right.
Your heart, and he was drunk, so he forgot he was left-handed. He said he never tried again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So eventually, with all that, um, I tried to do what the preacher said. Um, he's a great guy. Like, not a lot of people do what he did for me, and so it's like I wanted both. I wanted both lives. I wanted to be able to use drugs and all that successfully, and not have the consequences. And I thought there was some kind of cocktail of chemicals out there I can mix together, and I can make it work. I'm Come on, I'm street smart. I'm sure I could find the good, right concoction of drugs to
Right.
make me feel okay with me and still be successful in life. And if I'd just stopped and if I'd have stopped and listened, then one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard in my life was I always thought drugs and alcohol was my problem. I always would tell myself I've been in several rehabs, the old diagnosis rehabs, faith-based rehabs. Like I heard something that I didn't understand until this time. And that's if the drugs and alcohol wasn't the problem, I was the problem, and it made me mad because I didn't understand. Like, and so I had tried everything. I tried the geographical move and change. I'm gonna move to this town. I'm gonna start over, and I'll do good for a while, then I screw it up, and I do it again. I'm like, well, this ain't the right town, and I can't go back to that town try to get sober and clean because I've done started. Um, I've done got high in that town, so I can't. There's no way I can get sober there.
Right.
So I didn't want to believe that I was the problem. I thought the whole world was the problem. It's a dark world. It's the problem. You know, I'm okay. I'm not hurting nobody, but hurting me.
Right.
That's what we tell ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But when the kids are small, like, well, they're not gonna remember this. I can just do what I want now for a while, and I'll get right before they get old enough. Huh. That's man. I really believe that, and I believed it. I really when I said it, I even said it to myself. I believed it, but
I know that feeling because I felt that same way. Yeah.
it didn't happen that way, and they do remember,
Yes.
of course. But so okay, so I ended up trying to go 12-step programs, and I would hear things like the drugs and alcohol is not. It's not the drugs and alcohol. You keep telling yourself. So I would tell myself, um, I gotta get away. I gotta get away from the people, and that is true until I'd always blame everything else. I'd be
Mhm.
like, well, it's the people I'm hanging out with, or it's this place, you know what I'm saying, or this this program ain't working because it's not good enough.
Right.
I didn't want to take responsibility for my own actions. I always, and a funny thing I like to say is, I didn't feel like I could take, I didn't feel like I could get sober if I had to take responsibility for my own actions. Sick.
It's a trend that I noticed talking with people that myself included, uh, that it something starts when you start saying, "Hey, it's more than me." You know, like you said earlier, you said, "Why it's only affecting me? What's a big deal?" And it's like it's not only
Yeah.
affecting you; it is affecting everyone around you, which is 90% of the time is the people that you love the most.
Yes.
And so they're the ones that suffer the most when it comes to that. And that's one of the hardest things for people to understand is that there is so much that you're doing that you don't even see that you're doing,
Yeah.
you know. And if you could just see, it goes back to the whole Jesus thing, forgive them, they not know. But if you could just see how much that's affecting them, you would really be like, "Oh my god, what am I doing?" You know?
Yeah.
And it takes a point to get to where you can realize that.
It does. It takes a while, but I mean, all you really need is a little bit of willingness and honesty. And when I say honesty, is be honest about yourself. I remember one time I was sitting there with a friend, and he was like, "Jimmy, why can't you just get it right?" And he was like me too, but he had gotten clean and sober, and he was a man of faith, a really good man. Um, he's like, "Why can't you just get it right?" I'm like, "It's it's the company I'm around, okay? It's." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "It's just bad company, I guess." He's like, "Jimmy, you are the bad company." I'm like, "Oh, oh." And then I got thinking, I was the bad company. I was the one selling pills to people that just got out of rehab, thinking. I mean, I thought they called me up. So how am I to blame this? Their fault. I was just trying to help them out. Go figure.
Right, right.
But I had an underlying issue that I wasn't addressing, and so I always had this like void, like something was missing. I thought it was a woman until I got the woman, and that void got easier for a while, but then it came back, and then I done dragged her into my mess, and um, so I put more drugs and alcohol on top of it. Well, maybe I need a good job. Job didn't help. This made me more stressed out because I have this emptiness in me, and I'm trying to put everything on top of it. And when it don't work, I start getting mad and angry and using more drugs, finding other ways to escape. Before you know it, it's bad. And coming to find out, it's just spiritual malady. We all believe that there's something up there. Even atheists, they believe there's something. They don't know what. Energy, universe, whatever. In my opinion, and it's just their opinion, I've always believed in a God because I have seen what the devil can do. And, like I've had little experiences, yada yada yada, but so if you know the devil exists, you would think that God exists. I mean, there's gotta be a good and bad, yin and yang, in every religion, there's some kind of higher power. And that's what the 12-step program really taught me. Once after so many times of going to so many different ones, I just finally, when I got clean this time, every other time I tried, I was so like, yeah, I got it this time. I'm done. Because I've done overdose, died, like my kids are grown. So I got to do something. Like, I have it in my heart. So, and I truly believed that I was going to be done. But, and everybody's walk is different. We are trying to get to the same path, but everybody's walk is different. So when I say this, every time I tried to get clean and sober, I was for sure I'd never use again, period. I always failed. When I went into it this time, they told me, do it one day at a time. And I just want to grab them and choke them because I didn't understand it. And in my mind, was just like, I don't understand. And so I heard somebody speak one time, and they was like, I can't tell you that I'm not going to get high or drink tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you that. And I'm like, well, he ain't done then. Come to realize this guy got like 5 years of sobriety. I'm like, what the heck? And so I went and talked to him. I was like, I don't understand. Why it's like reverse psychology toward yourself. Like, are you trying to fool yourself? He's like, no. He said, just think about it. You're not promised tomorrow. So, and why are you thinking that far ahead? You might not even be here tomorrow. But if you just stay focused in, I'm not going to use or drink today, tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. Make, and
Right.
then when tomorrow comes, you'll be like, well, I don't want to do it today. I might do it tomorrow, but I'm not going to do it today. And before you know it, tomorrow never comes. And you done got a year or two under your belt, and you're like, at that point, you're not going to tell yourself, I'm going to do it tomorrow. You just tell yourself, you're not going to do it for today. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Right.
That's how I got sober this time. I can't really tell you. I don't know if I'm, you know, gonna sporadically because from my track record, look what I've done.
Right.
I haven't never made it this far, but just because I got a little October 18th of 2023 is my sobriety date.
Right.
But to the newcomer that tries this way of life, or the person that's got 20, 30 years, they're gonna tell you, I ain't no better than you.
Right.
I mean, at the foot of the cross, it's level playing ground,
Right. Right. And that's one thing that trips a lot of people up there. They're thinking, well, yeah, this guy did it, but he just don't understand. And it's like that's the
That
whole
was
point
me.
of this. That's the whole point of this is we want to put your perspective out there so that way it's like, yes, he does understand. And he did, you know. And so my opinion is, I don't care if you're a week sober, if you're a month sober, 2 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have a story. You have done it. When you were in your first week of that, it's like you said, your track record. It's like, uh, I would get upset when people would like, oh, well, we can't go to a bar. Rick would have a party and be like, well, I didn't want to invite you because people were drinking. And
That's
it's like,
respect.
it is. But at the same time, it's like, look, man, this is now even me trying to be sober. Now everybody's like walking on eggshells with me. And I'm just like, I'm the problem. It's not the fact that you guys are drinking around me. It's me. I'm the problem. So it's like once when you said that, it really resonated with me because it just clicked in my head. I don't. It does. I can still go around. I can go to a bar. I can go wherever. And I know this is crazy. Like a lot of people maybe can't do that, and Godspeed to you. I get it.
I mean, so like I stated earlier, everybody's walk is different. Um, some people do it a certain way, some people don't. Some people use a MAT program, a medical assistant treatment.
Right.
I always envied them people because I wanted to do that. My ex-wife actually did it and was successful at it. A step down program that they give you methadone
Mm-hmm.
and they step you down. She did it. She did it flying colors,
Right.
and I'm so proud of her over it. You have no idea.
No, it's
That's
accomplishment. It's
it
it's it's
is.
nothing short of a miracle the second anybody stops that whatever it is. It's like that's nothing short of a miracle. Because yeah, I mean you know it. We've lost friends, we've lost family, we've lost, and it's
A
like
lot of people.
yeah, and so it's nothing short of a miracle the second someone quits. And it's some people quit for a little bit. You just said that you quit several times, and it's like
5, 6 months at a time, then yeah.
right, and it would always. And I was the same way, same way. And that's a common denominator, I guess you could say, within the the rehab. And then there's something to it when you said that you were still friends with your ex-wife and her husband, and they have a child together, and
Yeah.
you kind of said it like you were blessed that they were even,
Yeah.
that you get to be a part of that,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
and to me, that's when it's like, that's when I feel like you started really seeing there's a bigger picture here than
A
just Jimmy, you
absolutely.
know?
The universe and the world does not revolve around Jimmy. Just because I plan on getting sober and clean, like, I can't expect everybody to throw a parade party in town and be like, "Man, he finally did it,
Right,
woo, about time." I
right,
mean, and bless my church family. They're so awesome. My first year of sobriety, they threw me a little get together because they put up with me just not as long as
right,
you have, but
right.
with
No, I hear
a
you.
very long time, and
Mhm.
I have burnt my bridges with them several times. So it's so crazy. It's such a good story. We're all sitting there. We're all eating. My friend, he's a pastor. My spiritual advisor, you want to call him? He's more like a brother.
Mhm.
Um, they're all like, we're all just celebrations for me, because yeah, they was, and I'm sitting there, I'm getting food. They get me this little sparkly balloon, and it's a number one, and and I'm gonna tell you about that after because you're gonna like that. So I'm sitting here getting this food, looking at this little balloon number one, and I'm like, this ain't right. So I make an announcement to them. I'm like, okay, I don't know why we're celebrating this, and they look at me like I'm friggin', oh my goodness, he's high right now.
Right.
But no, so I told him, I was like, why are we celebrating this? This is what I should have been doing a long time ago. And they're like, yeah, but this is a big accomplishment for you. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. And so my friend, he's a pastor, he's like, well, we're celebrating for us too. We put up with you all that time. Don't take it away
That
from us.
that's accomplished, man.
Yeah. But, like, they my friend is a pastor. He was just like, well, he wasn't like me, but he had struggled with alcohol and drugs, and now he's a pastor. He has a great testimony. Um, but so they told me to take my little balloon with me. So it's summertime. Yeah, it's summertime, and I stick it in the car, and I don't have any air conditioner in my car, so I had to roll the windows down, the front windows usually, not the back ones. So I put the balloon back there, some helium still in it. I'm driving down the road, and next thing you know, this balloon jumps in front of me while I'm driving, and I about wrecked. And, buddy, I have overdosing about. I've had a heart attack due to AFib because of this addiction. I've overdosed 7 times in a hospital. Luckily, be brought back. All this I went through, and on my year celebration, the balloon about takes me out. I'm like, I think balloons in my sight are trying to drive. I think quick, pull my knife out and pop it, and then I realize I'm heading for a car, so over real quick, pull off to the side, and I was like, sitting there thinking, did I do something wrong or deserve that or something? Or maybe it was God trying to tell me, don't get prideful. Because you get prideful. I've actually relapsed because of that reason. I think I was saving people. People would hear my war stories in rehab. The rehab I went to more than once, twice. They'd be like, well, we hear how crazy and how much you've done. And now you're walking with God and you're doing great. I feel like if he can change you, he can change us.
Right.
And that's what I had some people tell me. And I'm sitting here, I puff my chest out like, that's right. That's right. And not thinking that I took the course for myself and I gave none to God. It's like I just put him back in the box, put him back on the shelf till I need him again. That's what hurts me. We shouldn't treat our higher power, whatever you choose to call him, like he's Santa Claus. Dear God, I need a new car, probably a better job, more money.
Right.
I don't want my kids being in pain anymore. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to have to really go to work.
I hear what you're saying.
It's like I have to catch myself. I'm selfish and self-centered sometimes. And I've got to reel that back.
Right.
Um,
Go back to that. Only reaching out to God when you need Him. Think of it like your child.
mhm.
If when your child, you're about to feel it with him getting older, and he's going to eventually move out and stuff. And if he reaches out to you when he needs you, and even if that's the only time he does, you still would accept it.
Yeah.
You still would encourage it. And and that's what we are to God. It's like he does, even though, and it's good to feel bad that way, because it is like your son should want to come visit you a little bit more often and call you up and check on you and stuff.
Oh, he does.
But at the same time, it's like your relationship with God. I always struggled with this, and one thing that Rick had told me, he was like, God, he loves it when you do that.
Yeah,
He loves it when you come to him.
He wants you to know him.
Right. And to me, that always spoke words with me. Yeah. It's something, and when you relate it to your own child, that it's a big one, having your own children. And
It's so with my two boys, they're my oldest one will be 18 in October, and my youngest one is actually about to be 16 in April in this month. Well, like they're so bright, and they've got a much better head on their shoulder than I had at that age. For the simple fact that my youngest one, he they're both in pain. Not just from the damage and the wreckage from the past that I had caused or his mother has caused, but the world today is such a hard and dark place. And as teenagers, it was tough. It was tough back in when we was there. But they don't rely on substances for a mind altering, or how you say it, a chemical. Street drugs. You know what I'm saying? I don't never down antidepressants or anything. If it helps you, fine. If it don't, But with them, my youngest one expresses his pain through music, and very talented. Like it blows me away how talented.
that's good.
And so with my oldest one, I mean, he reads a lot. He's very like his IQ's high, and he's more book smart, and he's more like
Takes after his mother.
I don't know where he gets it from because me or her does not. No, yeah, but no, he's more chilled. He's more
Right.
He sits back and examines the room to read people. You know what I'm saying? He's not the center of attention. He's quiet, and that right there is biblical all by itself.
Right.
He's quick to anger, or he's slow to anger, slow to speak, quick to anger, and you know, and he don't believe the same way that I do, but it's okay. You know, I'm just like I'm blessed to have these kids and them not be out there slinging guns and drugs and all this and that. Uh, you know, he expresses his anger through like working out and running, you know, on a treadmill and stuff. And it blows me away. I mean, I play guitar, you know, but if I had that kind of head on my shoulder when I was their age, it'd, it, it'd be it'd be amazing. And they've been through a lot, but they didn't take the same path that I took. And I don't know I don't know how it happens because in generational curses that seems to be thing that usually happens. Sometimes you'll get lucky and they don't. But I got
Right.
lucky twice.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that is a blessing. That's just to me, it just proves God exists and God's work. You know, it just the amount of times that you've been saved from death. You know, it's like that alone. You know, and so you're still meant to be here. You still have stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know, and that is a big thing, man. It's like, you know, you are an inspiration to others. And you know, you are. And it's like it's
I
tough
understand
to
that.
judge a line between pride and being pleased with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Part of respecting yourself and that is to be pleased with yourself.
Sure.
Uh pride is tough one because you want to be in a sense we kind of want to be prideful, but at the same time we don't want to
You don't
be
want to have
prideful.
ego
Right, you don't wanna
and
be, you know, so if you can kinda separate pride with pleased, you know, and it's like, you know, I'm pleased with where I've gotten to, you know, and I'm not where I wanna be yet, but I'm pleased for where I'm
yeah.
at and, you know, and understand that you do have a powerful story, that you can still put the perspective in someone else that may be thinking that there's no way of doing this.
And I like how you said that because honestly, when people would sit there and try to talk to me about God, 12-step programs, or anything, or, you know, I understand what you're going through. I had a professional sit there and tell me they understood, but they never suffered like I suffered. I'm like, how do you understand? Like, don't like. I'm sitting here. I wasn't mean or rude, but I'm just like, I'll humor them. You know, I would shake my head and me talking in my head like, man, this is the most stupidest thing. I'm like, and and I'm not saying that trained professional cannot help you open up your mind and express your feelings because they are trained to do that, and there's some really good therapists out there. So don't let me get it twisted.
There's a lot of good ones.
And it really does like so. I thought I was way too far gone. Like, I'm sorry, but your little fairy tale god and your little 12-step whatever is not gonna work for me. I went to a lot of different places. I never heard my story. Eventually, I did. It wasn't exactly like mine, but there's some people out there that's been through some real pain and it's overcome, and they yeah. I'm talking about a lot,
Some could say that some could say that you can definitely um
but it did work.
right and you know it brings back to another spot where you said that it's different for everybody. Everybody walks their own path, right? You
Everybody's
know,
walk is different.
the
Yes,
12-step thing. It's never been a thing for me. You know, I
yeah,
truthfully I would look at the 12 steps and I would judge it harshly, I guess you could say.
I did
Um,
too a lot.
and but one thing that I did realize is that the 12-step program, it's there because it does help.
Sure.
It helps a lot.
Yes.
I had a bad experience with a therapist, a real bad one, and I thought, you know,
Yeah.
fluff off.
Yeah.
therapists.
Yeah, that
And
yeah.
that's a horrible thing because therapists have helped. I've got a daughter, two daughters that go to therapy, and they help these kids.
Yes.
They've helped so many people.
Yes. That helped
So
mine too, yeah.
you know what's good for the I can't remember the saying, but you know
What's chaos for the fly is normal for the spider?
right. That's yeah, whatever. But I remember thinking, you know, why? Because I would always think, well, why can't people just go, look, man, you know what you're doing wrong, stop doing it. That's that, and that's kind of what I did. And it's like that. One of the guys was telling me that there's a book called Rational Recovery,
Yes.
and I was telling him about this whole. I didn't
Great
like.
book.
I didn't. Haven't read it yet, but he was explaining it to me, and I'm like, dude, that's exactly what I did. And
Mhm.
so this is a form that some people can do, and then
Yes.
some people can do the 12 steps. Some people can, you know, go to the methadone clinics, and some people just go to therapy and do it. You know,
Some people just go to church and that's fine.
some people just
Um,
just
and that's
see it.
another thing. You said that you went to a therapy appointment one time and it rubbed you the wrong way. Now, that's a good point you brought up because as a young lad, when I was like 8 or 9, I had went to a church just because I was hungry and I wanted to get away from my crazy family. So I get to this church and I'm seeing, the preacher's up there talking. 8 years old. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't. My mind, no,
Right.
wasn't. It wasn't. But so I'm sitting here and I'm looking at everybody else. I'm by myself and I'm looking at everybody else. You see somebody sitting there doing their taxes, and I think that's what they was doing. That's what it looked like. There's a bunch of
We're
numbers, but
doing their taxes
they
in
were doing
church.
it. Yeah, yeah. It was crazy. I remember seeing a W-2 form, so that's what I assumed they was doing.
Right.
And then this is before cell phones, so there wasn't. If it was, you seen a lot of people in there and you're like, yeah.
Right.
But you know, about one third of the congregation was paying attention. That means the other 2/3 they was doing
Right.
something else. So that kind of rubbed me wrong. I'm like, well, churches like they're just a bunch of hypocrites,
Fake. Yeah.
Yeah, fake. I'm like they don't know. And the sad part about it is there are a lot of churches that will, if you walk in with tattoos like I do, if you walk in saying you're an addict, a prostitute, whatever your sin may be, they'll escort you out,
Right.
and because they don't want you to corrupt their flock.
We were talking about that last night.
And don't get this wrong. Anybody who hears this, there are good churches out there. Because the sad thing is, or no, I think sad. The good thing is you don't have to be cleaned up and good to go to church. You come as you are.
Right.
Jesus came with sinners. He sat with sinners.
Right.
The disciples it was pretty messed up people.
Most all of them.
All of them was, yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
but I don't know. Like I just didn't think. I just thought it was church. I mean, I knew there was a God. I just like, man, it's not gonna work. I mean, why would God put me here and all this? And it threw me off because I had tried taking my life 3 times. Then I had that heart attack, and then I said, "Oh, I'll
And then
right."
that balloon.
And then the balloon like it just blew my mind. I had to pull over and think like, you know, think of some kind of sign, sure, but get back to the 12 steps. Okay, so not like I said, everybody don't get clean and sober the same way. He was able to do it without it, and that's good. Some people can, some people can't. I thought I was that person cause I don't wanna have to do all that, man. That the 12 steps is like a self so
You
it's
know, honestly, as I look at the 12 steps, I think I kind of did them, but
you
not really knowing that I did them. You
and a
know what
lot
I'm
of people
saying?
do that, yes.
'Cause the 12 steps is a good thing, but to me, it's like they push it too darn hard in some places. You know,
In
I
some
guess
places
maybe, and
they
I
do.
haven't never heard it in the right way,
Yep.
but to me, it just never was a working thing. But
Mhm.
you know, the whole forgiving stage, the
Yes.
all that, I pretty much did. You know, you know.
Well, you had good values implanted in you at a young age, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
And
I never lost my family. I never really hit rock bottom, you know.
well, everybody's bottom is different.
Right, right. So my
So
bottom, yeah, was seeing my
your
daughter.
yeah, and your
My
bottom,
daughter saw me
yeah,
that way.
and that's great. That I mean, I don't mean to say it. That was great, and I'm sorry, but I'm glad that it happened to you, and you realized it, and
That's one
it
of the toughest things to say too, is because I said the same thing when I was giving my testimony. I said, I wouldn't change it as much as, that's messed up. I should, if I could, I should. But at the same time, it's like, would it have stopped?
you wouldn't have stopped
Would I
if
have
you didn't
stopped?
have
And
that.
would I have even, because there was like everybody,
Hmm.
every addict, it's like no matter what, you think it's impossible. You can't live without it.
You
It's like,
can't live with it. I can't live without it.
right.
I'm. What
Well,
am I
the
going to do?
thought of being without it,
Always, it's
it's
horrible.
impossible. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You think,
yeah,
well, I could go a week, I can go a day, a month. It's
yeah.
like, but you think you're always kind of going, well, it's going to come back. It's a tough one.
If you don't address if so, that's one thing. Like I said earlier, spiritual malady. That's called spiritual sickness. And I'm sorry, but you know, you gotta believe in something, because power greater than myself is what helped me. I couldn't help myself. I've tried. I tried to save me, and I just made it worse. And and it sounds like kind of your story too. You believe in a God. You really don't know him, but you know he's there. And then there's no wrong way of praying. Um,
Right.
but if you don't, with your spirituality, like, okay, if you work out, get strong. If you stop working out, you'll lose your muscles.
Hmm.
Um, that just
I,
if
I started going to the gym for a while, and I did quit, and I'm starting to lose my muscles. But
absolutely,
but I always did say that it was kind of like religion. It's like you should commit to a lifetime.
well,
Um,
you say religion. We have different definitions of that. So, um, religion is when a person goes, and this is my opinion now, but from what I gained from my understanding is like religion is when you go to church just to fill a seat, just to say that you went, check it off the list. I went to church, so I'm
right,
good. You know, we're not saved by works, as in the way I believe. We're saved by faith through the Messiah. Now that is the way that I believe.
right,
And good work, people that go do good works, there's not, there's nothing wrong with that. But faith without works, or works without faith is dead. And
right,
that's in recovery, that's in biblical terms, it's scientific, theology is like, the law of attraction. You put out bad energy, you get back bad energy. You the dog or the wolf one. You got a bad dog or a bad wolf and a good wolf. If you feed the big wolf more, he's gonna get bigger and consume you. If you feed the good wolf, that's the same. It's all it's all up and down, good and bad, negative and positive. I mean, it's just yeah,
right, right. So I know you said that you try not to think too much of the future. Um,
correct.
so this next question may be a little challenging, um, but I would urge you to try. So you've went through all this. You came to this point where you're 2 years, almost 2 years sober,
Yes,
and so October 28th is what you said.
October 18th,
18th, 18th. Um, so you're sober now, 2 years, October
almost
18th.
yes.
Uh, uh, and so what plans? What do you have anything going on currently that you're trying to work on
Sure,
or
I do have like goals and stuff like that.
right,
Um, when I say I don't think into the future, I mainly talk like, well, I don't make 10-year plans, you know, and this is a tricky one, yes. I'll make a 5-year plan because that's a little closer. But in that 5-year plan, I'll break it in increments of 6 months, 9 months, 15 months, 3 years, 5
Right.
years.
Right.
That will be my platform or format I would go by. And everybody's can be different. I'm not.
Mhm.
That's just you know. I like them. I like to set goals that I'm going to reach soon,
Right.
and goals that are reachable in time.
Realistic goals.
Realistic,
Yeah.
yes.
No, that's where me and you are the same because I do that same thing.
Because if you set a goal 6 months from now, saying, "Well, you know, if I don't use in 6 months, that'd be good." I'm not
Right.
going to say. I said if I don't.
Right. Right.
I'm not going to. But so in that 6 months, I would like to be able to get my GED. I'd like to at least start going. If I can start going once a week, boom.
Right. Right.
There ain't no telling. Even if 1 month, if I can go one time a week or one time a month, is more what I'm going now.
Right.
I like to get that
Right.
GED, even though the line of work that I'm in don't require it. But eventually, I will be going to addiction counseling, and I will need it to get my peer support license. It's always good to have a backup plan when it comes to trade work, yada yada yada. But back to the plans. Um, what was the question?
You had planned on. I do that all the time. You had was talking about. We was talking about plans that you have
Okay,
for the
so
future.
I look at them plans. Okay,
And you said something about a license. You said something about a license that if you need to get this license, you kind of got
yeah,
and stuff in
but
schooling.
at the same time, I got a friend that's got me connected in with this career center, in which there's a lot of resources out there. If a person wants to do better, they gotta get out there and ask and search. There are so many resources in this day and age. If you don't get it, it's because you didn't try.
Right.
But
Right.
I got to get my GD to get my peer support license.
Peer support
It's
license. Okay.
for addiction to counseling. Yeah. Um,
So that you can be a counselor.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But and when I say this, for anybody that ever tries to go that path, one key point is if you work in recovery as a job, that is not your recovery for yourself. Whatever you start doing to get you to help get you on the path of being, sober and all that, the job of working in recovery and your recovery are two separate things. You can't call your job helping others your recovery because it will grip you every time. And I've seen that. That's why. But
Right. Meaning, just because you sat here and did a bunch of meetings doesn't mean that you don't need to go and attend a meeting yourself. In a sense.
that, or like when you get clean and sober, we're supposed to help the next person.
True. True.
That is in
I agree with
12
that.
steps. That is in biblical. That is in anything I can think of. You're supposed to help your neighbor, or you're supposed to help the person that's trying to get clean and sober do that. If you can't charge them for it, now that's where it comes. What do you mean you can't charge them for it? You just said you want to work in addiction counseling. Yes, in a detox program. First day, we'll medically detox you chemically to help you come down because alcohol is the worst thing to detox from. It comes out of your system rapidly. That
Mhm.
means the DT is going to be intense,
Right.
and you could die from it.
Mhm.
Barbiturates are like that too, Xanax, whatever. Um, certain drug. I mean, everybody's DNA makeup is different, and I, I've been to several of them rehabs, and I didn't get sober from that, but everything I learned from there really did help me carry on to understand. But
Right.
with the plan, man, listen, I was in addiction for 27 years with a few stints of sobriety. Here 6 months there, maybe 3 months, 5 months in jail. I don't really consider jail sobriety because if I could have got something in there, I'd used it.
Sure.
Um, but that's me. Everybody's different. Um, I'd like in at least 5 years to own my own house. You know, normal things.
Right. Right.
In 15 months from now, I like to be working at a rehab, sponsoring people, and doing more stuff like this. I've already had dreams that's come true. I'm in a worship band in my church. I've always wanted to be in a band. Never thought it'd be a worship band.
Right.
I never
Right.
thought God could use me like that, but He did.
Right.
That's a dream come true right there. Just because, and it came to me out of nowhere. These are all the little dreams I would tell myself when I try to get sober at the times. That'd be cool to be in a band. I don't think I'd ever be in a worship band. Anybody look at me like, I don't know, they would judge and
Right.
yeah, but
These addictions that we come across and go around, it's to me is only your first step. I mean, you've got a lot of work to do, and it starts after you're done.
yes,
And that's the big one, man. It's like
it never ends.
it never ends.
You gotta
Yeah.
work on this daily. You gotta die. Like
Reborn. Yeah.
yeah, you
It's
gotta
like
be
you got to be
reborn.
reborn.
But
Yeah.
you gotta remember daily, every day you wake up, you know, you haven't arrived. Just because when I say you, I mean me.
Right.
Just because I got a little time under my belt, I haven't arrived. I'm not at
Right.
the finish line. I got to put in more work.
Right.
Because I promise you, I don't do what I did when I first got sober. I will go back to what I was doing
Right.
because I gotta address this daily. I got
One of the big things that I feel like a lot of people mess up on is when, like you said, that you had always said that, oh, I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to do this again. And it's like, to me, yeah, you have to understand that there is going to be bad things that happen.
absolutely.
I mean, bad things are going to happen.
Yes.
And you're going to want to say,
Yep.
fluff it, and if you can overcome that, which I feel like that's one of the main things that I did. I have been tested I'm working on my 4th year. In November 15th will be my 4th year.
Man.
And over these 4 years, the amount of excuses that I could have had
Yes.
is endless. Like I don't want to get into it right now, but
No.
I have stories that I could tell
Yes.
that's like, and you didn't break your sobriety over that?
Yes.
And yeah, so to me, it's like once you make this commitment, and it's just the way it is, and then the real work starts getting started right after that, and that's why I try to help as much as I can. I mean, as far as
And everybody, like I said, everybody's walk is definitely different. It's just we're trying to get to the same path, and that's why we're created to live in community. You have skills that I need. I have skills that you need. If we all get together and we all got different skills, we can all make an impact.
it's a collaboration.
Yeah,
It's a collaboration,
And,
which then can turn into a bigger collaboration. It's like starting a church.
it's
you
like
know,
it's like
starting-
building a house.
Yeah.
I need you to frame it. I'll do the electric. We need him to paint it. We need a builder to do it because I don't know how to
Before
read
you
a
know it,
blueprint.
there's another house getting built up
Exactly.
right beside it, and then you look up and there's a whole subdivision.
And it's like we're not made to live by ourselves.
No,
It's just not isolation.
music brings everybody together.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's amazing. Well, I think an hour and a half.
Yes.
It's been a good one.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure. You're one of my deepest friends, and I knew that having you on would be a good one. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that can relate to you. And I hope the best. I hope that when you get going and your work starts to begin, that you help as many as you can, and yeah, and I believe I believe it to be true that you will.
Yes.
So
I believe there is help out there, and it's hard. It's hard to reach out and ask for help, especially because you don't know who to reach out to, and you don't. And I've reached out to people that said I can't really help you, but there is help. There is help out there, so don't give up.
Like, okay, men's mental health. Has anybody asked you if you're okay?
No.
I went to jail for the first time when I was 10.
And ask yourself,
okay.
yeah, are you okay? Ask
That's
yourself,
a
are
good
you
one.
okay? You got to be careful because that snake will get you.
First band I was in, I was 16 years old.
It's a lot of heartbreak,
Yes.
a lot of misdirection.
Right.
Drug use gets worse, gets better, gets worse, gets better, gets way worse.
My brother quit.
Just quit cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
Drugs and alcohol wasn't the problem. I was the problem.